Hi, welcome into my studio, and I'm doing a quick review on the Caran 76 pastel pencil set. I just received them. Now, I've been doing pastels for around about 3 years, and it's only now I've actually purchased these. I've got plenty of other sets. I've got the complete Carbothello set, the Pitt set, Conti, Gioconda. So I've created those with all those without these expensive pastels, and they are pretty much the most expensive pastels. In the UK we can get the 76 set for around about, at the cheapest, about £190, going up to £240 to £250 for those. So they by no means cheap. They're supposed to be the best. They're supposed to have the best light fastness as well. So let's take a look at them, show you what's in the pack. Then I'm going to review. I'm not going to be doing a drawing with them like you see lots of artists do. I want to try and make it a bit more educational than that. I think what people want to know is how they perform against the others, and also if the colours are available in the other sets as well. You don't want to be duplicating your colours. So let's take a quick look inside. Okay, so we've got just the usual little leaflet that we have on pencils. We've got this saying, due to Caran d'Arche's new identity, the pencils will be modernized gradually with new branding. Okay, so I don't know what that means really. We've got a little piece, very little piece of glass paper, or an emery type of paper, okay, to sharpen the pencils, because basically sharpening these in a hand sharpener or a crank handle sharpener, which is the way I sharpen my Pitt, my Carbothello as well, you won't be able to really do that with these. You may get away with it when your sharpener is brand new, if you force them in, because these won't fit normal size sharpeners either. If I show you against a Carbothello, they're very slightly wider. You've got this hexagonal shape, which they say stops the pencil rolling around on your table, which is true, but it means that with the crank handle sharpeners, a standard size sharpener, the only way you'll get the Caran d'Arche in is if you kind of force it in. And as I said, you may be able to get a sharp point on there when your sharpener is pretty much brand new, but as soon as you put a few pencils through, it'll just start snapping these, because they are soft compared to Pitt, soft compared to Caran d'Arche. So you've got to keep that in mind. The only real surefire way of sharpening these is with a blade, hence then the glass paper to sharpen them even further. So I knew that before I purchased them. That wasn't going to be a surprise, but some people may not know it, so keep that in mind. If you don't want to use a blade straight off the bat, these are not going to be for you. You can get a Caran d'Arche sharpener for them. They look like one of those cheap potato peeler type things. Haven't tried it myself. It's very expensive as well for what it is, so I can't tell you if that works or not. On here, this is just basically showing you there's those sharpeners that you can get. You see what I mean? They're kind of like a potato peeler. And all it's really saying on here is just saying about the pencils. And the interesting thing, which I'll be showing you my view of towards the end of this video, is where they're saying that the range goes up to actually 84, so you can buy like a special edition pack, which is a lot more expensive. High concentration of ultra fine pigments, finely ground at the Geneva workshop, with a close collaboration of international master pastel artists, conforms to ASTM standards. Keep that in mind, this high concentration of ultra fine pigments, for the end of the review. Okay, so the colours, it's a superb range of colours, to be honest. That's the top shelf. They come in different shelves, and they've got these little tiny tags by here that you can barely get hold of, but you can, and if you bring them out, you've got the next layer beneath it. Then it's extremely difficult to get hold of these tabs then, as you can imagine, so I don't know who designed that and why they didn't make them longer. And you can get the next lot out, so we've got lots of kind of muted colours in this second layer, and then there's the third layer. We've also got a charcoal black, not really sure why they bothered putting that in there, and I've got absolutely no idea really why they put a Graftwood H pencil in there, although when I tried it, it really felt more like a 9H. But there's an extra bit of a bonus, I suppose. So I'll put those back in. The thing I was interested in was the colours compared to what I've already got in my other sets. So recently with my other sets, I did some colour swatches. So that's just one, and you can see I've got by the side of it like Pitt number 153, Conti number 53, Carbothello 460, so that when I'm doing my drawings and I've done my usual pulling out of colours you've probably seen on other videos, I can match these up, because the colours on the back of the pencils very, very rarely match the colour that actually goes down on the paper. So you need something like this if you want to accurately see the definite colours that you've got in your sets, especially if you've got lots of different sets of pencils. So what I've done with the Caran is that I've done all of the 76 pencils, and I've done a colour swatch with them. And what I've also done as well then, where applicable, I've put in something like the gold Caran 530 is almost identical, or is identical, to Pitt 184. And then for instance the lemon 240 in the Caran is almost exactly the same as the Conti 24. Sometimes they're really, really similar, but what I've found is out of the 76 Caran pencils, I think I've got 28 to 30 in those other sets. So I've already got around about 300 pencils. The other sets, about 30 of them, are almost identical to what I've got in the Caran. So if I'd known that, I wouldn't have purchased those colours, especially with the issues that, you know, I knew we would have, or I would have with sharpening, because I don't particularly like using the knives myself. Now, a couple of pencils I've actually starred as well, and the reason behind that is I just couldn't get the pencils to actually work. No colour would lay out from them. So let's take a look at a video with that and you'll see exactly what I mean. Now you've got to bear in mind, before we get to that, that the Caran are regarded normally as the best pastel pencils by far, the highest light fast rating, the smoothest pigments, the best colour range, and the price really is dictating or showing that, or going along with that as well, because they are 2 to 3 times the price of something like a Carbothello. So I was expecting a lot from them. I think when the price is that high, they should really perform. And I was extremely disappointed to find that at least 5 or 6 pencils from that set, if I move this a minute, all showed the same fault. So there's just a few here. I don't know if you can see it that easily, but we got night blue, beryl, dark green, golden ochre. One was 662, and all of them, as you'll see in a moment, produce this extreme scratchiness. And well, let me show you and you can see exactly for yourself. Okay, so let's see if I can show you this grittiness. I've got a few of these pencils, you can see. So there's the dark green and we've got this night blue. So let's have a look at the green first. Okay, so using on the side doesn't look too bad, and then no colour coming off at all, and it's scratching the surface of the pastel matte paper. And pastel matte paper is really, you know, a hard wearing surface. So I've got this sanding block, so it's basically like sandpaper on a block. I'm taking quite a bit of the pastel off the surface. Still the same. take a bit more. You know, I'm removing a lot of pastel, but it seems like there's a grit in there, an actual hard, really hard layer. So I'm really rubbing it now on this sanding block. See, I'm removing quite a lot of pencil, and it's an expensive pencil. Wore that right down. See, really scratching into the surface, and I've taken that nib almost all the way down, and I think I can see some sort of a grit in there, hard grit. So, you know, Caran d'Ache said it's super fine ground pigment, and this, you know, there's at least 5 of them in there. I'll pick it straight off. So that could have ruined my drawing. If I had layers underneath, that would have ruined it, and I wouldn't have been able to have covered that back up. So let's take a look at this blue, night blue. Exactly the same. Scratching, no matter how hard I push on that, we've got some form of grit in there. So 5 or 6 pencils out of 76, that's quite a high number to have a fault, and I'm concerned now that the other pencils, when I use them, somewhere when I'm sharpening down, will have that grit. See how I can't cover over those lines? But that's how the pencil should work. The pigment should just come off there easily. So now I've really sharpened the pencil up again, just to try and get past that layer. No luck. Rubbing it even more. You can see how much pencil I've gone through, how much pastel. Basically filled up that board, worn it all the way down. Absolutely terrible. I would expect this from the cheapest budget pastels in the world. You expect it like that. So I'm sharpening and sharpening on my crank handle sharpener now. I've broken the end of it off as well, so I've gone past that. Let's even try a different bit of paper. So it's a grey paper. Really pushing hard on it. So in case Caran d'Ache thinks it's the paper, there's a different pencil. So you can see that one's working okay. That's a different blue. No problems. Go back to this blue, and there you go again. That grit that's in there is completely stopping it. So let's see if we can actually see whatever it is. And I think I can see a dark area, like a grit, actually in the pastel. You see, and I can't get past it. Whether it's through all of the pencil, I don't know. Whether it's in the other pencils, only time will tell. But we'll see what Caran d'Ache got to say about it, if anything. Okay, so I'm back. So I think you'll agree that was extremely surprising to find that out. I thought perhaps it was going to be a one-off, and that would have been disappointing enough with something this expensive. But to find 4, 5, 6 pencils, 6, 7 pencils perhaps, that were exhibiting the same thing, extremely disappointing. You can see if we compare this blue with the other, you can look at the length that I've already lost on that pencil, breaking the edge, trying to get past that grittiness so that I could actually use it, bearing in mind as well that if I was, you know, well into my drawing with pastels and I had that grittiness and I rubbed that on the surface of my drawing, which already had a few layers, it could well ruin it and I won't be able to regain it. I wouldn't expect that from something this expensive. The blue that I was having a problem with, night blue, is a 2-star rating out of, I think they go up to a 4 or 5-star rating. So there are quite a few 2 stars and 3 stars in there. Don't think they're all top rating. But I've sharpened it down that far and it's still showing the fault. So I will contact Caran d'Ache directly and complain about it, because maybe all the way through that pencil, maybe all the way through the other pencils that exhibited the problem may happen through the other pencils, so I've lost confidence straight away in them. I've contacted Caran d'Ache in the past to talk to them. They've never actually replied to my emails. So whether they will on this one, I've no idea. I won't hold my breath, but hopefully they will, because it's not the supplier's fault. It was all packaged in cellophane. You know, it's nothing to do with them. It's actually the manufacturer. So I'm really disappointed with that. If you're thinking about buying these, keep that in mind. I've no idea what they're going to say. Funnily enough, I've only experienced that grittiness, which I think is a kind of a grit, where they haven't ground the pigment down super finely like they said they did in the pamphlet. I only found that in another product, which was a hard pastel, soft pastel stick. I'm not going to bother naming the company, but it was probably one of the most expensive with soft pastel sticks, and they said it was an error in their manufacture that the grit was there. So am I happy with the pencils? There's some beautiful colours in there that I've only found in those Caran, so I am still glad I purchased them. Hopefully the company is going to sort out those pencils that got those faults in them, and if I get any more faults, I'm not going to be happy at all, and I'll be contacting them again. So if you check my Facebook page, I'll keep you all informed and updated as to whether Caran actually reply and what they got to say about it. I'm also going to try to get a good photograph of these colours and the ones that I think are pretty identical almost, or very, very similar and duplicated in my other sets. So if anybody wants to purchase individual Caran perhaps, you can have a look at that and save yourself some money. So I'll try and put a link below the video to a file that you can see online and actually download yourself. So it's only a short review, but very, very surprised to find that fault with the pencil. Very disappointed with it. You've seen in the video how hard I was pushing on the pencils, and I still couldn't get past that gritty layer, which was not a one-off. So keep that in mind if you're going to buy these, and I'll see you again on the next video. Just wanted to quickly mention my Patreon channel for those looking for even more in-depth art instruction. It's packed full of pastel videos, oil videos as well, and those videos are being added to new ones every single month. I have videos for the complete beginner that have never done pastels or oils before with just limited supplies, and I take you from the very first blocking in all the way through to the final detailed drawings and paintings. I've also got some really unusual subjects as well, and in all of my videos I always take you through all the details. You see everything I do, how I create my work. But it's not just for beginners, it's also for novices, and I also show the best artwork that I've ever done as well. And this particular elephant video spans 6 hours, so you know you're going to see tons and tons of details, tips and techniques. And as mentioned, I've got lots of oil videos on there too, so there really is something for everybody, and you get access to hundreds of hours worth of videos for just $4. Now over 1,000 members strong. Hope to see you there soon.